YouTube, what's poppin'? Today we looking at every psycho female killer explained in 9 minutes. Let's see what they talking about, man.
Aileen Wuornos. In American criminal history, most serial killers have been men, but Aileen Wuornos was the most
This finna be a
notorious
good
exception.
one. I'm ready
A
for this one.
cold-blooded female killer who became a
Yeah.
symbol of society's downfall and tragedy in America. Wuornos was born in 1956 in Michigan. Her father was a pedophile who went to prison and later hanged himself. Her mother abandoned Wuornos from birth.
Of course. Of course. 21 seconds in. And this is why she became a serial killer, huh? Because of how she grew up. Parents. Wow. Same thing happened to Edgin. Not the same story, but his traumatic experience growing up. That's why he became the way he did. Same could be said for Shawty right here, man. Let's get back to it though.
Aileen's childhood was filled with violence, abuse from her grandparents, and by age 11, she was already selling her body for money. Living as a vagrant on the streets, Aileen became familiar with the world of crime and addiction. From the late 1980s, Wuornos worked as a prostitute along the highways of Florida. But instead of just prostituting herself, she began killing her clients. Between 1989 to 1990, Aileen shot and killed 7 men, all of whom were either Johns or people who gave her rides.
That make a lot of sense, you know? Because I was wondering, how could, no disrespect to, any women. I love women, no disrespect to them. But men are stronger than y'all. So how could y'all possibly lure a man in and kill him, in close proximity? And that's how she used the looks and sexualized herself as bait to kill him. That's how she did it. Wow.
Wuornos
That's
claimed
interesting,
she killed
huh?
in self-defense because clients sexually assaulted her. However, evidence showed that many cases had no signs of resistance. Gradually, public opinion realized that Aileen was not just a victim of society, but also a cold-blooded killer. In 1991,
Cold-blooded?
Wuornos was arrested after driving a stolen car belonging to one of her victims. Her girlfriend, under police pressure, convinced Wuornos to confess. In court, Aileen showed no remorse. She even declared before the cameras, "I killed those men, I'll kill again if I have to." Wuornos was sentenced to death for 6 out of 7 murders. In 2002, she was executed by lethal injection. Before her final moments, Aileen coldly said, "I'll be back like Jesus Christ's Judgment Day." Aileen Wuornos' story inspired the film Monster 2003, which won Charlize Theron an Oscar. But beyond cinema, Wuornos is forever remembered as a cold-blooded female monster masquerading as a victim. Elizabeth Bathory. When mentioning notorious serial killers, one cannot ignore Elizabeth Bathory, a 16th century Hungarian countess who was dubbed the Blood Bathory, or Female Dracula. According to
Female
legend,
Dracula?
she tortured and murdered hundreds of young girls just to bathe in their blood. Elizabeth was born in 1560 into the prestigious Bathory family. She was well educated, married to a wealthy count, and lived in a vast castle. In many people's eyes, Elizabeth was an elegant, powerful noblewoman. But behind the castle walls, a horrifying secret gradually emerged. According to legend, Elizabeth believed that bathing in virgin blood would keep her young forever. Therefore, she had servants deceive or kidnap young girls, mostly poor peasants, and bring them to the castle.
Elizabeth Bathory. That's why you killed hundreds of young women? Because you thought it would make you look younger? If you bathed in their blood? Really? Come on, man. Ain't gonna lie, you gotta check these brains. Scan them, man. You gotta check them. What's? I can't believe this. Man. Something you'll hear in a fictional story. Bathed in their blood, really? That's why you killed them? That's why?
Fortunate victims were imprisoned in dark dungeons, subjected to brutal torture, stabbed with needles, flesh cut, starved to death, and finally, their blood was extracted to serve the Countess's sick rituals. Witnesses said that Elizabeth's castle regularly echoed with horrific screams, but no one dared speak up for fear of her power. Historical records document at least 80 girls killed by her, but many sources suggest the actual number reached 600 victims, making Elizabeth the most notorious female killer in history. In 1610, rumors about the mysterious deaths forced the Hungarian royal court to intervene. When soldiers stormed the castle, they discovered corpses of young girls everywhere.
600 girls were killed by one woman? Nah, this video didn't freeze. I just had to think about that. Ain't gonna lie, I'm truly shocked by that, man. Discombobulated in disbelief. I'm a little bit astonished too. Cause how is that even possible? What the heck?
Horrifying scene never before witnessed. Elizabeth Bathory was not executed due to her noble lineage, but was imprisoned for life in her own castle until she died in 1614. To this day, historians still debate whether Elizabeth actually killed hundreds of people. Mary Ann Cotton. Before names like Ted Bundy or Eileen Wuornos, 19th century England was haunted by Mary Ann Cotton, a woman considered the first female serial killer of the Foggy Kingdom. She silently killed husbands, children, and neighbors with just a little arsenic powder. Mary Ann was born in 1832 in England, growing up in a poor family. As an adult, she worked as a nurse and married, quickly having many children. In the neighbors' eyes, Mary Ann was a hard-working wife, a gentle mother. But few knew that behind that meek appearance was a bloodthirsty killer. Mary Ann used arsenic, a common poison of that time typically used in rat poison. She mixed arsenic into tea, beer, or victims' food. The symptoms resembled natural illness: stomach pain, fever, vomiting, making it very hard to suspect. Thanks to this, Mary Ann could kill many people without leaving traces. Mary Ann married at least 4 times, and most of her husbands died early from strange illnesses. Additionally, about 11 out of 13 biological children also died one by one. Many neighbors, relatives, and even her own mother shared the same fate. In total, Mary Ann Cotton was suspected of killing over 20 people to collect insurance money and funeral benefits. Mary Ann's plot was only exposed when a doctor suspected the unusual death of her stepchild. During autopsy, he discovered traces of arsenic in the body. The expanded investigation exposed Mary Ann's cold murder spree. In 1873, Mary Ann Cotton was sentenced to death. When hanged, she was only 41 years old. Her death ended one of the most shocking cases in English history. Belle Gunness. If you think only men can be serial killers, then the story of Belle Gunness, the Norwegian Black Widow who immigrated to America, will make you shudder. She was suspected of killing 14 to over 40 people just to satisfy her greed and cruelty. Belle was born in 1859 in Norway to a poor family. As an adult, she immigrated to America, married, and lived in Indiana. Her large, strong appearance and powerful personality made Belle an unusual woman in the eyes of locals. Many people close to Belle died under strange circumstances. 2 husbands died successively from accidents or poisoning. Many biological children also died from strange stomach ailments. Afterward, Belle continuously received life insurance money from these deaths. Not stopping at family, Belle placed newspaper ads seeking potential husbands, single men with money. They came to Belle's farm bringing all their assets, but afterward they disappeared without a trace. When police investigated, many bodies buried in Belle's garden were excavated. Many corpses were chopped up and buried mixed together. In 1908, a large fire burned down Belle's farm. In the ashes, police found a headless corpse believed to be hers, but many people believe Belle faked her death to escape. To this day, the true whereabouts of the Black Widow remains a mystery. Juana Barraza. In Mexico's criminal history, no one shocked more than Juana Barraza, a professional female wrestler who once wore masks in the ring. But in real life, she carried the notorious nickname La Mataviejitas, meaning the old lady killer, spreading terror among elderly women in Mexico City. Juana was born in 1957 into a poor family. Her mother was an alcoholic who once sold her 12-year-old daughter to an older man in exchange for a few bottles of beer. That childhood filled with pain and betrayal left psychological wounds that never healed, causing Juana to harbor hatred toward older women, especially those she considered evil and heartless like her mother. Juana Barraza once worked as a female wrestler under the stage name La Dama del Silencio, the Silent Lady. But when her career declined, she turned to another job: killing elderly women living alone. Juana often disguised herself as a nurse or social worker to easily approach victims. Once inside their homes, she used ropes, scarves, or electrical cords to strangle victims to death. The victims were usually 60 years old or older, living alone and frail with absolutely no ability to resist.
Hey man, kindness goes a long way. Kindness costs nothing. It could change lives. It could save yours. Please show kindness when you're interacting with strangers. Be kind. That's the least you can do. I'm telling you, be kind. Yeah, you know, you're gonna have your moments where you joke around. I be doing it too, you know. It's my personality. I ain't gonna hold you, but be kind, man. Be kind, be kind. I'm telling you, go a long way in this world. She did all this because she got sold a couple of beers. Be kind, man. Be kind.
In 1998 and 2006,
Take care of them
Juana
kids,
was
too.
suspected of killing 30 to 40 elderly women. The murder spree shook all of Mexico City. Police initially didn't believe the perpetrator could be a woman, causing the investigation to drag on for years. In 2006, Juana was caught right after killing an 82-year-old woman. Witnesses described the suspect as a large, strong woman, and during the search, police found fingerprints matching many previous crime scenes. In 2008, Juana Barraza was sentenced to 759 years in prison for 16 murders and 12 robberies. Although she didn't admit to all charges, the sentence closed the criminal career of La Mataviejitas, Nanny Doss. While many serial killers often hide behind cold exteriors, Nanny Doss was completely different. She always wore a bright smile, even giggling when recounting her murders. Therefore, the public called her the Giggling Granny. But behind that smile was a cold-blooded monster. Born in 1905 in Alabama, Nanny grew up in a poor family. Her father was extremely strict, forbidding his daughter from dressing nicely or socializing with friends. Nanny suffered a head injury as a child, and many
Socialize
people
with
believe this
friends.
affected
Another
her
one.
psychology later on. Nanny married 4 times, and most of her husbands died under mysterious circumstances. She often put poison in food or drinks. Not just husbands, but also her mother, siblings, grandchildren, and even biological children became victims. All for insurance money or simply because she felt bored. Nanny
Insurance
used
money.
arsenic poison, a type of poison difficult to detect at that time. Most victims died in silence, and only when the numbers became too high did police begin to suspect. Nanny was arrested in 1954 after the death of her 5th husband. When police questioned her, she giggled and admitted to killing a total of 11 people. The image of a plump grandmother sitting in a chair, laughing while describing how she killed people, became a nightmare for all of America. Nanny Doss was sentenced to life in prison. She died in prison in 1965 from cancer, carrying her chilling smile to her final moments.
Can't believe this. Female psycho killers. Wow. Wow. Hey man, it's your boy Scotty Love. I just want to appreciate everybody for tuning in. And last but not least, I'm gone.